Did you know that 40% of Black women between the ages of 35 to 87 are insulin resistant? That means every 4 out of 10 Black women have an increased risk of getting diabetes and cardiovascular disease and cancer because their insulin no longer works the way it should. Obesity and diets high in animal fat and refined sugar play a huge role. That's why it's important for Black women to not only reduce animal fat, but to reduce sugar and cravings for sugar in order to reduce their risk of insulin resistance and to improve insulin sensitivity. In part 2 of How to Reduce Cravings, I'm going to give you tips on how to do just that. I'll cover techniques for managing cravings in the moment and strategies for getting back on track after a binge in case you fall into a sugar trap. By the end of this video, you'll have a toolkit of practical tips and tricks for managing sugar cravings, which will ultimately help you to meet your fat loss goals. My name is Jennifer Lipscomb, and I help Black menopausal women with a sweet tooth lose fat with quick, tasty, and cheap plant-based meals without skipping dessert. I watched Dr. Jen Ashton on Good Morning America in a short YouTube video called "This is What Happens When You Stop Taking Ozempic," one of the hottest drugs created originally to treat diabetes, but now it's significantly used for weight loss. I heard all the side effects, such as GI, nausea, vomiting, inflammation of the pancreas, diarrhea, and the list goes on. I was surprised that many women still choose to take the drug to lose fat because many of the risks far outweigh the benefits, especially if women are likely to gain weight after they stop taking the drug. Changing our eating habits can be much more effective for improving our health and losing weight long term, much more than taking any medication. Obviously, if you have diabetes, Ozempic can be a game changer, but so can changing your diet to reduce insulin and improve your blood sugar levels. Now, I'm not naive. I know that even if you increase whole fruits and veggies, you can still have cravings for sugar. That's why I want to share with you tips that can help. Imagine you're minding your own business, and all of a sudden, your thoughts suggest that some decadent, creamy Ben & Jerry's ice cream would taste really good right now. You and I both know that eating just a few spoonfuls is very unlikely. We're more likely to eat the entire container, or even worse, spiral into a binge. I have a few tips for you that will help to minimize the craving itself and remove your focus away from the sugar. Also, stay tuned for the entire list of strategies to find out the most important tools in controlling what we put into our mouths, including sugar, in order to support our fat loss goals, particularly with a busy schedule. Techniques for managing cravings in the moment. The first tip to reduce cravings in the moment is to drink a glass of water. Drinking water is especially important for the menopausal woman because we are often dehydrated, which increases our feelings of fatigue and causes us to experience an increase in our appetite or suddenly crave all things sugar. We generally reach for a quick fix or an energy boost because we're dehydrated. We think we're hungry. We want to satisfy our sweet tooth when in fact we're simply dehydrated. Drinking the recommended daily amount of 2 to 3 liters of water will increase your hydration and reduce your cravings. The second tip for reducing cravings in the moment is deep breathing. Now, I'm not trying to get all woo-woo here. Hear me out. Deep breathing can help reduce cravings by reducing stress levels and increasing feelings of relaxation. When we experience cravings or urges, our body can respond with a stress response, triggering the fight or flight response and increasing levels of cortisol, a stress hormone. Deep breathing exercises help activate the body's relaxation response, which can help reduce stress levels and decrease the intensity of cravings. By taking deep breaths and focusing on inhaling and exhaling slowly and deeply, we signal to the body that it's safe to relax, which can help reduce feelings of anxiety and tension that may be contributing to cravings. Additionally, deep breathing can help increase mindfulness and awareness of present moment experiences. When we practice deep breathing exercises, we become more attuned to our bodily sensations and emotions, which can help us identify and respond to cravings in a more skillful and creative way. Rather than automatically reacting to cravings or urges, we can take a moment to pause, take a few deep breaths, and respond with more intention and awareness. Have you ever tried deep breathing? And if so, has it helped you either with controlling stress or managing cravings? What do you think about the chances it will help you? Please leave a comment below. I would love to know what you think. The third tip for managing cravings is to journal. This will help you to focus your energy on assessing the craving rather than reacting to it. First, rate your craving on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest level, and then capture your feelings and emotions in the moment. Jot down any cues that may be triggering your craving based on the 4 types of cues mentioned in the first video, being aware of your environment, your mood, any incidences or events that just took place that you may be recalling from the past or that will be occurring in the near future that may be affecting you, making you nervous or anxious, and jot down what food you might be seeing or smelling, what physical symptoms you may be feeling, like hot flashes, increased heart frequency, headache, nervousness, jittery feeling or fatigue. Jot down what type of day it is and who you may be with. Express everything specifically so that you're able to fully recollect the atmosphere on the next day when you're reading the journal. Then note the exact type of food that you're craving, if possible, to be clear that you're actually craving something sweet and are not just hungry. Then wait 10 minutes and rate your craving again. Be honest with yourself. If it appears that the level of craving has increased, write down a higher rate. If it appears that it's gone down, write down a lower rate. This tip will help to both redirect your focus as well as provide you with useful information in the future to demonstrate patterns you experience so that you can determine a strategy to address them. The fourth tip to reduce cravings in the moment is distraction. Distraction has been known to be helpful for many people with redirecting the focus from food to an activity. If you feel a craving coming on, or you're experiencing strong urges to snack on sweet treats, pick up a book and get lost in an action thriller, a crime story, or a murder mystery, or even a romance. You can play a game on your phone or a card game with friends or family. You can paint or sing or even clean. It doesn't really matter what the activity is, as long as you can fully engage and your mind has to focus on carrying out specific steps that will require concentration, diverting your thoughts away from the sugar. The fifth tip to reduce cravings is to exercise. Exercising immediately helps to reduce cravings not only by distracting you, but it helps to reduce insulin levels and balance the blood sugar so that cravings subside. Physical activity can include walking, dancing, riding a bike, sports, swimming, running, taking a class at the gym. The more pleasurable the activity, the better. You don't want to engage in any activity that increases your stress and cortisol to high levels, which in turn will increase your appetite and cravings. The sixth and final tip is to satisfy the craving with healthier substitutes. By preparing desserts that contain mostly protein, starch, and fiber, you're able to both satisfy your sweet tooth and curb your appetite. Your urge can be satisfied without increasing your craving or working against your fat loss goals. In my Herschel Fit Mini Fat Loss course, I provide tips and strategies in further detail on planning and preparing desserts by showing you how you can swap out refined sugar and how to replace it with ingredients that reduce your cravings and curb your appetite, all while satisfying your sweet tooth. Also included with that particular module is a workbook that details what you need to do to prep the right desserts. I'll leave a link in the description notes below. If despite all you have done to prevent cravings, either before they start or to reduce them in the moment, you still end up binging, there are still tips to help you overcome the sugar and get you back on track for losing fat. But first, before I share them with you, if you're watching the video version of this podcast and you're enjoying the simple tips I've shared with you so far, I would love it if you could like or share this video with a friend in order to help other Black menopausal women with a sweet tooth improve their eating habits and lose fat on a plant-based diet. Strategies for getting back on track after a binge in case you fall into a sugar trap. It's not easy finding yourself in a sugar trap. Sugar keeps you overeating high-calorie food that not only works against your fat loss goals, but puts you at risk for long-term chronic diseases such as diabetes and heart disease, which can be very challenging to treat. The best first step to getting back on track is to make sure you're fully hydrated. When we become dehydrated, blood sugar levels can become more concentrated because the kidneys retain water. Also, when we're dehydrated, our bodies can mistake thirst for hunger, leading us to crave sugary food for a quick energy boost. But water will help work against the cravings. Step number 2 is to plan well-balanced, nutrient-dense meals. The more whole fruits and veggies you have in your diet, as well as protein, starch, and fiber, the more regulated your blood sugar is. The more balanced your blood sugar, the less cravings you have, and the less likely you are to overeat. So putting the meals down on paper helps you to schedule the food in advance so that you're not guessing when you get hungry, which protects you from eating off plan. Step number 3 is to optimize your environment. Try to keep all processed food and food containing sugar out of your home. Make sure to bring a list when buying food at the grocery store so that you're not roaming the aisles and tempted to buy food with sugar that's not on your plan. Also, make sure to go to the grocery store on a full stomach. Studies show the hungrier you are when grocery shopping, the more likely you are to buy poor food choices to satisfy your appetite. Step number 4, prepare healthy desserts. When recovering from a binge or trying to get out of a sugar cycle, denying yourself any desserts can make you feel restricted and make your fat loss journey that much harder to execute. Preparing desserts that satisfy your sweet tooth but don't trigger you to overeat can support you in staying consistent because you enjoy each action step you take. Step number 5, plan meaningful movement. Not only does movement increase calorie burn, which supports fat loss, but it also helps keep your insulin levels low, which will help balance your blood sugar and keep your cravings under control. Step number 6 is to meal prep. Meal prepping is one of the most popular tools for controlling our eating habits, sugar cravings, and losing fat. It keeps you on track because you're able to prepare well-balanced meals in advance so that when you're hungry, you're not grabbing for food that doesn't serve you. By investing a little bit of time on the weekend to batch cook your favorite well-balanced plant-based meals, you're able to help regulate your blood sugar by removing sugar from your prepared meals. You also control the portion sizes of your meals, which ultimately helps you to create a negative energy balance and lose fat. And finally, you save time during the week, which helps support your routine and keep you on track. The last tip is to assess your progress. Journaling helps you to record the action steps that you should take on a daily basis. It reminds you of your goals and helps you to assess your progress as you work to achieve your goals. It also helps to capture any emotions, cues, or triggers that drive you off track so you can see objectively any patterns that you need to address. It also helps to determine whether the steps you are taking are effective or need to be modified. Journaling keeps you mindful throughout your fat loss journey, keeping you motivated to stay on track. Journaling might seem hard and boring at first if you don't know where to start. If you need a template, I provide one in my free mini fat loss course with all of my key assessment indicators that will help you track your progress and keep you consistent with the right action, which is the key to losing fat. I'll leave a link in the description notes. So those are my powerful, effective, and proven strategies for reducing cravings on a plant-based diet. Let me know in the comments what you think about the tips that I've provided and whether or not it has worked for you.